The bright dot on the monitor wasn't moving like other space objects. Dr. Taiwan Park rubbed his tired eyes and checked the readings again. His coffee sat forgotten as he studied the strange pattern. "Hey, come look at this," he called to his colleague. Dr. Jae-yun Kim hurried over to his workstation at the Mauna Kea Observatory. She leaned closer to the screen, her face reflecting the blue glow. "That's not following any normal orbit," she said quietly. "That's controlled movement." Taiwan nodded. "It changed direction 3 times in the last hour. No natural object does that." They looked at each other, both understanding what this might mean. Jae-yun was the first to say it out loud. "We need to call someone. Now." Within 6 hours, the leaders of every major nation on Earth joined an emergency video conference. Military generals, scientists, and intelligence chiefs filled digital squares on screens worldwide. General Da-hyun Lee of South Korea presented the data that Taiwan and Jae-yun had discovered. "The object entered our solar system 3 days ago," Da-hyun explained. "It has been moving purposefully, slowing down as it approaches Earth. Our calculations suggest it will reach our orbit in approximately 2 weeks." The American president leaned forward. "Are we certain this is artificial?" "Yes," Da-hyun replied. "The object has made course corrections that defy natural physics. It is under intelligent control." Debates raged. Some leaders wanted to prepare military responses. Others argued for peaceful contact attempts. By the end of the meeting, they agreed to form a secret international council to handle the situation. The world continued as normal. News channels reported nothing. Social media remained full of cat videos and political arguments. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, humanity prepared for its first contact with alien life. The strange craft broadcast its first message 19 days after detection. It was a simple greeting in 200 Earth languages, requesting permission to land. The secret council agreed to welcome the visitors at a remote airfield in New Zealand. Taiwan and Jae-yun were among the select few scientists invited to witness the landing. They stood with military personnel and government officials as the silver ship descended through clouds. "It's beautiful," whispered Jae-yun as the craft settled gently on the runway. The ship was smooth and oval, with no visible seams or windows. It gleamed in the sunlight, almost painful to look at directly. A doorway appeared as if melting open, and 3 tall figures stepped out. The aliens called themselves representatives of the Galactic Empire. Their leader, Ambassador Hak-sung, looked almost human except for his silver-tinted skin and unusually large eyes. "We bring greetings from 1,000 worlds," Hak-sung said, his voice melodic and perfect. "We offer Earth membership in our ancient and prosperous community of planets." For 3 days, Hak-sung and his companions met with Earth's leaders. They spoke of trade, technology sharing, and cultural exchange. They described a peaceful galaxy where all member worlds benefited from imperial guidance. "This is the opportunity of a millennium," Hak-sung told them. "Your people will gain access to medical technology that can cure any disease, energy sources that never deplete, travel between stars." Before departing, Hak-sung presented gifts to Earth's representatives, beautiful crystalline devices that glowed with soft blue light. "These are knowledge repositories," he explained. "Study them. Learn about us. We will return in 1 Earth year to hear your decision." Jae-yun couldn't sleep that night. Something about the aliens felt too perfect, too rehearsed. She took the crystalline device to her private lab instead of the designated research facility. Under her microscope, tiny components became visible inside the crystal. Jae-yun carefully mapped the structure, then ran energy scans. "That's odd," she murmured. The device was emitting weak signals on unusual frequencies. She worked through the night, carefully peeling back layers of alien technology. By morning, she had her answer. The beautiful gifts were sophisticated surveillance devices designed to monitor all conversations around them. Jae-yun brought her findings to Taiwan, who helped verify her discovery. Together, They analyzed the data the devices were collecting and transmitting. "They're mapping our military installations," Tadwan said grimly. "Power grids, communication networks." Further investigation revealed hidden files within the knowledge repositories. True records of the Empire, not the sanitized version Haksung had presented. The Empire didn't partner with worlds. It consumed them. Resources stripped, technologies stolen, populations reduced to labor forces. At an emergency meeting of the Secret Council, President Sun Min Kang listened to the scientists' report. "So they plan to harvest us," he said, "not help us." General Dahyun nodded. "We have 1 year before they return." Sun Min looked around the room at Earth's leaders. His expression was determined. "Then we have 1 year to prepare. Let them think we're primitive and trusting. Meanwhile, we'll build defenses they never expect." Around the table, heads nodded in agreement. Earth would not become another conquered world. The Empire observers watched Earth from their hidden stations on Mars and the Moon. They saw old-fashioned rocket launches and satellites. They intercepted television broadcasts about small medical breakthroughs and minor technological advances. They smiled at the primitive world's slow progress. What they didn't see was happening deep beneath the Antarctic ice. Commander Junho Choi walked through the massive underground complex, his footsteps echoing on metal floors. 5 years ago, this facility didn't exist. Now it stretched for kilometers in every direction, carved from the ancient ice by machines developed in secret by the Unified Earth Defense Initiative. "Commander, they're ready for you in the briefing room," said his assistant. Junho nodded and changed direction. The briefing room was filled with scientists and military leaders from 20 different nations, once rivals, now united by a common threat. "Let's begin," said Junho, taking his seat at the head of the table. Engineer Su Jin-beuk stood up first. She was young for her position, barely 30, but her genius with energy systems had made her irreplaceable. "The shield grid is at 60% completion," she reported, bringing up a holographic display of Earth. Blue dots covered most of the planet, concentrated around major cities and strategic locations. "We've disguised the emitters as weather stations and cell towers. The Empire's observers haven't noticed anything unusual." "How does the technology work?" asked a Russian general. Su Jin smiled. "That's the beauty of it. We're using quantum field manipulation principles that the Empire doesn't understand. Their science developed differently than ours. They used direct energy manipulation, while we found a way to bend space itself to create the shields." On the other side of the table, Dr. Hyun-Woo Kim cleared his throat. His white hair contrasted with his youthful face, the result of too many late nights in his laboratory. "We've successfully tested the FTL drive," he reported. "The Firefly prototype traveled to Saturn and back in under 4 hours." A murmur of excitement ran through the room. "Did the Empire detect it?" Junho asked. "No," Hyun-Woo replied confidently. "We conducted the test in Jupiter's shadow, using the planet's magnetic field to mask our energy signature. The Empire monitoring stations showed no reaction." The meeting continued with reports from various departments. New weapon systems, advanced AI, communication technology that couldn't be intercepted, all developed in secret while the world maintained its charade of slow progress. Above ground, nations continued their petty arguments for show. Fake border disputes, theatrical trade disagreements, all carefully orchestrated to convince the Empire that Earth remained divided and weak. Meanwhile, on the Martian observation post, Imperial Scout Du Yun finished his quarterly report. He yawned as he reviewed Earth's pitiful technological advances. "Another primitive fusion test failed," he noted. "Their attempts at colonizing their moon have stalled again due to budget constraints." He classified Earth as a Class C development world in his report, adding, "Primitive nuclear capabilities, rudimentary space travel, perfect for resource extraction with minimal resistance. Recommend standard harvesting protocol." Do Yen sent his report without a second thought. It was his 15th assessment of Earth, and nothing ever changed. The humans were predictable, slow and unimaginative, just like all the other worlds the Empire had harvested over the centuries. Back on Earth, in a separate facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Jun-Ho met with the original scientists who had discovered the Empire's true nature. "How much time do we have?" he asked Dr. Jae-yun Kim. She looked up from her computer. "Based on the Empire's standard patterns, they'll send a harvester fleet within 6 months. They always follow the same procedure. They offer membership, observe for 5 years, then return to begin extraction. Will we be ready?" Taewon Park asked. Jun-Ho's face showed no emotion, but his eyes were determined. "We have to be. The shield grid will be at 80% by then. The lunar defense batteries are already operational, and we have 200 FTL-capable fighters hidden in underwater bases." "That might not be enough," Jae-yun said quietly. "It has to be," replied Jun-Ho. "No world has ever successfully resisted the Empire. We will be the first." 3 months later, on the far side of the moon, engineer Su-jin supervised the installation of the final lunar defense battery. Through her helmet visor, she watched Earth hanging in the black sky, beautiful and fragile. Her comm system crackled. "Su-jin, we're picking up unusual activity at the edge of the solar system," came the voice of the lunar base commander. "What kind of activity?" she asked, suddenly alert. "Multiple large objects entering from the direction of Alpha Centauri. Their energy signatures match what we know of Imperial ships." Su-jin felt her heart rate increase. "How many?" "At least 30, possibly more behind them." She looked again at Earth, shining blue and white against the darkness. "Alert Commander Jun-Ho. The Empire is coming early." Across Earth, disguised defense installations hummed to life. FTL fighters were prepared for launch. The shield grid power systems began their warm-up sequence. The Empire's harvester fleet approached, expecting a routine acquisition. They had no idea they were flying into humanity's trap. The Imperial fleet filled Earth's skies with their massive ships. 42 vessels, each bigger than the largest human aircraft carrier, took positions around the planet. Their metal hulls gleamed like polished silver in the sunlight. Each ship was shaped like a perfect oval, with no visible windows or doors. People around the world looked up in fear. Most had no idea what was happening. News channels showed the ships and reported that aliens had arrived, but no one outside the secret defense program knew the truth. Admiral Lee-jun stood on the command deck of his flagship. He was tall with silver-tinted skin and large eyes that reflected the light like mirrors. He watched Earth turn slowly beneath him, already thinking about the resources his empire would take. "Send the welcoming message," he ordered. "Standard protocol." His communications officer pressed a series of glowing symbols. Across Earth, all electronic devices suddenly showed the same image. Admiral Lee-jun's face. "People of Earth," he announced in perfect English, "the Galactic Empire welcomes you to our community of worlds. Your planet has been evaluated and accepted for membership. Our ships will now begin the integration process. Please do not resist. This is a great honor." In the United Nations building in New York, Secretary General Min-ho Shin stood before the emergency assembly. All world leaders were present, either in person or through secure video links. They had prepared for this day for 5 years. Min-ho straightened his tie and nodded to the communications team. "Send our response." His face replaced the admiral's on screens worldwide. He looked calm and determined. "This is Secretary General Min-ho Shin speaking on behalf of all Earth nations. We have received your message and studied your offer carefully. Earth respectfully declines membership in your empire. We choose independence." In his ship, Admiral Lee-jun laughed when he heard the response. He had heard similar defiance from 100 worlds before. None had succeeded in remaining independent. "They always try to resist," he said to his officers. "It makes no difference. Begin landing procedures." He pressed a button on his command console. "Independence is not an option. Prepare for integration. Smaller ships began to detach from the main fleet. 20 sleek vessels descended toward Earth's major cities: New York, Beijing, Moscow, London, Tokyo. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Commander Junho Choi watched the Imperial ships on a large monitor. Around him, military officers and scientists from all Earth nations waited for his command. The moment they had prepared for had arrived. Junho took a deep breath. Activate defensive measures. Close the gates. Engineer Su Jin Bak's fingers flew across her control panel. Shield grid activating. Power at maximum. Around the world, thousands of disguised installations hummed to life. Weather stations, cell towers, even ordinary-looking buildings suddenly glowed with blue energy. The power grid that Earth had secretly built over 5 years activated all at once. A shimmering energy field began to form around the planet. It started as small domes over cities, then expanded and connected until it covered the entire Earth. The field looked like a giant soap bubble with blue electricity running through it. 5 Imperial landing ships had already passed through the atmosphere when the shield closed. They were now trapped inside, cut off from the main fleet. The other 15 ships crashed into the energy field and exploded in bright flashes of light. Neutralize the trapped vessels, ordered Junho. Across Earth, concealed defense platforms rose from hiding places, from oceans, mountains, and deserts. They fired concentrated energy beams at the trapped Imperial ships. One by one, the alien vessels lost power and fell from the sky, carefully captured by tractor beams and lowered to prepared containment areas. On his flagship, Admiral Yi Jun watched in shock as his landing ships were destroyed or captured. The primitive world he had come to harvest was fighting back with technology that should have been impossible for them to possess. "How?" he whispered. "How could primitives possess such technology?" His second-in-command had no answer. They stared at the shimmering shield that now protected Earth from their weapons. But Earth wasn't finished surprising them. Dr. Jae-yum Kim activated the communication override system she had developed based on the Empire's own technology. Suddenly, the Empire's secure network was no longer secure. Earth broadcast evidence of the Empire's true nature to all member worlds. The files they had discovered 5 years ago in the crystal gifts, records of planets stripped of resources, populations enslaved, environments destroyed, all transmitted directly to the oppressed worlds. "This is Earth," said Secretary General Minho in the broadcast. "The Empire came to harvest us as they harvested you, but we refused. We closed our gates. You can do the same." Admiral Yi Jun screamed in rage as reports came in from across the galaxy. 3 worlds were already in open rebellion, inspired by Earth's defiance. "This is impossible," he shouted, smashing his fist against his command console. They were primitive just 5 years ago. He ordered his remaining ships to fire all weapons at Earth's shield. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes struck the blue barrier. The shield flickered but held. Inside their underground command center, Junho and his team watched the Imperial attack with tense faces. "Shield status?" Junho asked. Su Jin checked her readings, holding at 82% power. "Their weapons are powerful, but our quantum field manipulation is working. They can't break through." For the first time in its 10,000-year history, the Galactic Empire had failed to conquer a world. Earth had closed its gates, and the Empire couldn't force them open. The news of Earth's defiance reached the Imperial homeworld 3 days later. Emperor Sun Wuk's face turned dark red as he watched the reports. His advisors stood in terrified silence as he smashed a priceless crystal vase against the wall. "How dare they?" he shouted. The Emperor was tall and imposing, with the same silver-tinted skin as all his species. But unlike the smooth faces of regular Imperials, deep lines marked his ancient features. "A primitive backwater planet defies us." His chief military advisor stepped forward cautiously. "Emperor, it appears they have developed unusual defense technology. Admiral Yi Jun reports their shields operate on principles our science does not understand." I don't care what principles they use. Some Wook's voice echoed through the palace halls. Destroy them. No primitive defiance can be tolerated. The Emperor's orders spread across the galaxy. The Imperial main battle fleet, over 200 massive warships, began moving toward Earth. These ships carried planet-killing weapons, devices that could crack a world open like an egg. As the fleet approached the outer edges of Earth's solar system, strange things began to happen. Ships at the front of the formation suddenly lost power. Others reported weapon systems failing without explanation. "What's happening?" demanded the fleet commander. Earth had prepared for this moment. During the 5 years of deception, they had placed thousands of small, automated defense platforms throughout their solar system. Disguised as asteroids or space debris, these platforms now activated. They didn't try to destroy the massive Imperial ships. Instead, they targeted specific systems, engines, weapons, communications. In Earth's command center, Commander Jun-Ho watched the Imperial fleet's progress slow to a crawl. "The delay tactics are working," he reported to the United Earth Council. "The automated defense grid is giving us more time." Time was what Earth needed most. While their technology was impressive, they couldn't hope to defeat the Empire's full might alone. They needed allies. Captain Yun Jai-han was chosen for the most important diplomatic mission in human history. A small, unassuming woman with bright eyes and a quick mind, she had studied the Empire's records extensively. She knew exactly which oppressed species might listen to Earth's message. Her ship, a sleek vessel using the new FTL drive, slipped past the Imperial blockade under cover of a sensor-jamming field. Her destination: the Tellurian home system. The Tellurians had been under Imperial control for 300 years. Once proud builders and artists, they now mined resources for their Imperial masters. Yun-Ji's ship landed on their world under cover of darkness. "We come from Earth," she told the Tellurian leaders in their hidden meeting place. "We have defied the Empire, and we offer you the chance to do the same." She showed them Earth's shield technology, adapted to work with Tellurian power systems. "Together, we can be stronger than alone." The Tellurians were cautious but desperate for freedom. Within days, they agreed to join Earth's resistance. Soon after, 3 other species, the Vex, the Nereid, and the Lumen, also joined what would become known as the Coalition of Free Worlds. Meanwhile, the Empire had not been idle. While their main fleet struggled against Earth's automated defenses, a smaller, specialized force approached from an unexpected direction. Imperial Commander Wu Jin led an elite infiltration team in a ship with experimental cloaking technology. They slipped through Earth's outer defenses and landed in a remote area of the Siberian wilderness. Their mission: disable Earth's shield generators. "Move quickly," Wu Jin ordered his team. "We must reach the control node before they detect us." But Earth's security forces, led by Colonel Yi-Jin Park, had been alerted by subtle atmospheric disturbances caused by the cloaked ship. They tracked the Imperial team through the snow-covered forest. "Hold your positions," Yi-Jin whispered to her soldiers through their comm system. "Let them lead us to their target before we move." The Imperial team reached what they believed was a shield control node, actually a decoy created for just such an attack. As they prepared to plant explosives, Yi-Jin's team struck. In the brief firefight that followed, 3 Imperials were killed, but Wu Jin and 4 others were captured. Under questioning, Wu Jin tried to resist, but Earth's intelligence officers had studied Imperial psychology. They knew how to make him talk without torture, by appealing to his sense of technical superiority. "Your shielding technology is impressive," one interrogator said casually, "especially your quantum communication system. We could never disrupt something so advanced." Wu Jin couldn't help himself. "Actually, your quantum communication can be disrupted with a simple pulse modulation at the right frequency," he said proudly. "Our basic ships can do it easily." He realized his mistake too late. He had unwittingly provided Earth with the key to neutralizing the Empire's greatest advantage: their ability to coordinate large fleets across vast distances. With this new knowledge, Earth decided to take an even bolder step. Captain Jin-Woo Kwon, a brilliant tactician, was chosen to lead Earth's first offensive operation. "Your target is the Imperial Supply Depot near Alpha Centauri," Commander Jun-Ho told him. "Disrupt their supply lines and show the galaxy that Earth can strike back." Jin-Woo's small fleet, just 10 ships, used the Empire's own pulse modulation technique to jam Imperial communications. They struck the supply depot with precision and speed, destroying 56 supply ships and crippling the station itself. The mission succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. Not only was the depot destroyed, but 3 Imperial warships were captured intact, providing Earth with valuable Imperial technology. As Jin-Woo's fleet returned home, news of the victory spread across the coalition worlds. For the first time in thousands of years, someone was successfully fighting back against the Empire. The Imperial Council rarely met in full session. Only the greatest emergencies brought all 12 counselors together in the Grand Chamber on the homeworld. Today, all seats were filled as Emperor Sunwook glared at his advisors from his elevated throne. Humans became known throughout the galaxy as the species that dared to say no. Their technology and unique way of thinking, combining ideas from different fields, working cooperatively instead of competitively, spread to hundreds of worlds. More planets joined the coalition every month, not through conquest or threat, but by choice. They saw a new way of existing in the galaxy, not based on who was strongest, but on how they could help each other grow. The Empire still existed, but its power shrank daily as more worlds chose freedom. On the new orbital command station above Earth, Commander Jun-Ho Choi stood at the viewport. Below him, Earth shone blue and green in the sunlight. Above, the first coalition trading ships prepared to depart for distant stars. Dr. Ja-Yun Him joined him at the window. "It worked," she said. "We did what no one thought possible." Jun-Ho nodded. "We closed our gates to open the galaxy." They watched in silence as the ships accelerated away, carrying Earth's greatest gift to the stars. Not technology, but the idea that freedom was possible. The end.